In it comes. There goes the shot on goal. It's in. It's in. Jamie Dwyer.
Heavy lifting. Goes up to Graham. Takes the lead. Looks a winner. Draws away from
the Australians have just broken the American stranglehold on this race.
Today, we're going to hear from a truly remarkable athlete. In a matter of weeks, Eddie Ockenden is about to compete in his 5th Olympic Games. And whilst there are a handful of athletes who sit in this rarefied air, he is the only one from the sport of hockey. And none of the other sports, in all due respect to them, demand more physically than his sport. It is honestly incredible that he's embarking on his 5th Olympic Games. He's the most capped Kookaburra of all time. He's represented his country well over 400 times and is the only player in history to do that. He's a 4 times Commonwealth Games gold medalist, a 2 times World Cup winner, a 2-time World Championship gold medalist. He was Hockey Australia's Player of the Year in 2010, 14 and 15. He's a 2-time Olympic Games bronze medalist. He's an Olympic Games silver medalist. And it's now over 430 appearances, which has him 3rd on the list of all-time international caps in the history of the sport for any country. And he's now just within 20 of the record, which is incredible. I'll also let you know he loves to fly under the radar, I've been told. He's heading to the Olympic Games at the age of 37. Eddie Ockenden, welcome to the path to Paris.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of sort of reeling off those types of achievements for people to sit back and take stock of what they've done. How do you feel hearing those things?
Oh, I think like you just, it just triggers a little bit of memory about all of them, like where we were or the tournaments and the competitions and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You just think about, oh, I remember that, like good memories. And also the fact that I think it's gone really quickly. Like it seems like a long time ago that I started, but I mean, like obviously towards the end now, like you'd have to realistically say it seems like, oh, that's gone really quickly. And it's like, oh, I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, wild. I mean, I suppose that's the gift though, right? Like you already know that, look, when the time comes, you'll miss it, but it's been so important to you.
Yeah, exactly. I think like I feel very fortunate that I've found something that I'm so passionate about, which is sport and I guess particularly hockey, and I've been able to do it for so long. So I just feel really lucky that I'm living this life and I've been able to do it.
That's unreal. And we will talk about the sort of the gift of sport and the value of sport, but to be the most capped player in Australian history, and we hope soon in the whole sport, in the world of hockey, you need a couple of things: longevity and a good run with injury. And I'm interested to hear whether you put that down to good luck or good management. But how have you maintained the level for so long?
Oh, yeah, I think it's really difficult to sort of answer why. I think, yeah, I've been really lucky. I think with my body, I'm dedicated and I put a lot of work in, but not necessarily more than anyone else. And I've seen people do more things and have more injuries. So you do have to have a good run and a lot of luck with injuries that don't put you out because, games and caps, they're things that just come along. And I think the hardest part is, being consistent and performing at a high level to be able to be selected and to contribute to the team. So, yeah, I think the main things that stick out for me are like I love the game. I'm always ready to go and train. I still love training. Yeah. The games are the most fun, but I still really enjoy being out on the training track, and I think that helps me, still try to improve and get better and challenge myself and the team. But also it helps you stick around because you just love it.
Is that your mindset? You're 37, correct?
Yep.
At the age of 37, you are still trying to be better and like push yourself to be better when training?
Yeah, I think you have to. Definitely there's times where you might think you're just coasting along, but ultimately like we're in the game to improve and to be as best as we can, to be better than you were yesterday and all those sort of things. And to really, I think if you have that drive within like everyone that gets to the elite level, I guess they do have it, of course. Like you need that to keep pushing yourself and to enjoy that challenge. It's like not always fun and like I do enjoy it, but it's not always the things that are super happy that, the fun things that you can see. It's always like enjoying the harder things that I think I've learnt along the way. Keeps you enjoying it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Injuries particularly, good luck or good management? Because you haven't had many in your career.
I think definitely good luck with my body. I think the way you see people just have bad luck injuries or
Yeah.
reoccurring soft tissue injuries. I think they're things that, they're bad luck, and that's really difficult seeing teammates go through that sort of stuff. So for me to not have to worry about that, I also think it, when you talk about longevity, I think it makes it easier that I'm not sore at training and I don't have to struggle after, or it's not hard for me to, warm up or anything.
Yeah.
That is really lucky with my body, but also the longevity part, it's not difficult to go to training. So I think that makes it easier. I'm lucky with that for sure.
Yeah, cool. Well, speaking of, at the time of recording, now this is an audio medium, but if people jump online and check out some of the stills, you've got a gnarly little cut on your eyebrow. What happened?
Yeah, the worst thing is my fault. I just got like a little nick with a ball and cut my eyebrow a little bit, and it's so annoying. But those are the sort of things that you can deal with because that doesn't put you out. You get a couple of them along the way. Haven't had too many of them either.
Yeah.
Being able to dodge the ball, and but yeah, I think they're the sort of things that I have had that you can deal with, and you actually don't miss that much time, which is fine.
Yeah, you got stitches in there?
It's just a little bit of glue.
A bit of glue.
Yeah,
bit
a
of
bit
glue.
easier.
Hey, without getting ahead of ourselves, which I really am getting ahead of myself, let's be honest, is there a chance we could see a 41-year-old Eddie Ockenden running around at his 6th Olympic Games in Los Angeles, 2028?
I think realistically, probably not. I think it's
come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like now, sometimes I think like, yeah, well, why not? Like I feel fine, but it's like a long time away, and I think the last few years, especially, I've just been able to, just take great satisfaction in the fact that I've been able to play it like sort of how it's going. If I'm still in good form, I'm still enjoying it. I'm still fit and fast. That's what I put it down to a lot as well, like being able to be quick and fast. And I think that's what I've been able to, still be able to do. So I've been able to do it and keep playing. But yeah, it seems like a long way away. I realistically have to look sometimes, although I'd probably love to do it. It's not highly likely.
No, look, it's cheeky. Our focus is on Paris, of course. Hey, let's go back to the start. So born in Tasmania, you're the middle child between Will and Lucy.
Yeah, that's right.
What was life like growing up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think in Hobart, I look back on it really, and I think it was very fondly. Like, I think it's a great place for kids to grow up. So, it's my experience. So I remember it being fantastic. What do I remember? I remember having a heap of yard space, being able to play a lot of sport, having a lot of having sport accessible to me. So my parents obviously facilitated my sport in the background and in the hallways of the house, unfortunately sometimes, but also, as a lot of people say, like being able to go to trainings and games and that sort of stuff. So I think they obviously realized sport was a big part of my life and how much I loved it. I think I've always loved it, playing different sports and always been in the backyard or, like I said, playing with mates. And that's early on I realized that I loved it and that's what I wanted to do.
How did you find your way into hockey?
Well, Mum played hockey, so I think it's a very community-based sport. Hockey, a lot of families sort of play, and you sort of see that through generations as well. Yep. And I think particularly in Hobart, we have the one hockey centre there in Hobart, where I guess it's a real congregation of the whole hockey community. I'd play my junior sport like on a grass field out the back somewhere, and then I'd spend the whole day at the turf at the hockey centre watching the senior teams for my club or other clubs, and they'd coach me in the juniors, and then you'd watch them play in the seniors. And I remember just like being out there with my mates and thinking about it later on. Like we'd watch a game and then go play on the side or play after a game, and we'd have our sticks with us the whole time. That was actually just a lot of training. You were just having fun and mucking around. But that was sort of, I guess, hours you put into it. You don't think about actually trying to be an expert at something. But I think, that's sort of great memories from the hockey centre there.
That's so cool. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when we caught up. I lived in Narrogin for a year, a few years ago, and that's where I got to see. I knew, like, I always loved hockey. I played footy as a junior. If it wasn't footy, it would have been hockey. But when I lived there, like just how big the game is and how important it is to regional communities, especially. I take nothing away from metropolitan hockey communities, but regionally, hockey just seems to be an absolute glue that, holds communities together.
Yeah, I think like it's always been, I think a sport for me where it's everybody's safe and welcome to play. Like in juniors, you play boys and girls in the same team, sort of different age groups. You're always mixing, and I think it's just like it's very community based, and I think like a lot of yeah, a lot of families spend a lot of time at hockey, and I think the generational thing helps as well. You've always you might have my teammates when I was young, they'd have kids, and their parents would still be around the club or around the sport or whatever. So I think you sort of see like how much it sort of means to families and the communities.
I love seeing the same sort of thing. I still play cricket a little bit, and the same thing happens there. But I love when you see like a father and a son then play in the same team. It's unreal. Oh, you see it a fair bit in hockey, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think so. Like, yeah, I think the parents sort of love that if their kids choose hockey, because you kind of like me having a good experience with hockey. You think I don't want to push your kids into doing anything. No. Like you want them to choose, but then I think when families do see their kids sort of enjoy it and take it up, it gives them a little, good feeling. And then I remember playing with my mum. I must have been like, I think she was in a Masters women's team, like sort of preparing to go away, and I'd sort of play practice matches against them as like a really little kid, like maybe 12 or 13 or something. I can't remember, but yeah,
that's
probably
awesome.
playing against her more than the same.
Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. You were, if my maths is correct, which it isn't always, you were 17 years old in 2004. Yep. I'm getting a nod.
Yeah.
When a future good mate, Jamie Dwyer, struck that golden goal in Athens to secure the Kookaburras' first and to this day only gold medal at the Olympic Games. Did that set a bit of a fire in the belly?
Yeah, I think definitely. I'd always, obviously, I'd always watch the Kookaburras and the Olympics, especially. Like, it was really difficult. I remember to watch much like international hockey. It wasn't so accessible back then, but obviously the Olympics, and like I'd watch it wherever I could, I could find it. I'd watch it at any hour. But yeah, I definitely being very impressionable at that age. I think sort of then I was realizing that I was improving and that I might be sort of good enough to give it a crack one day. And then just I think for the whole sport in Australia, like all the hockey people watching, it was just an immense moment that I think everyone will obviously remember. Unfortunately, like sort of haven't been able to recreate it in my career since then. But yeah, I joined that team 2 years after that. In 2006. So for me to walk into that team, like that I'd watched on TV, and I guess a lot of athletes will say when they first come into a team it's like that, but yeah, I came into that Olympic gold medal winning team with a handful of the guys, most of the guys still there. It was a great environment for me to walk into, but also just like just an absolute dream come true, I guess.
Was it overwhelming?
A little bit, because you get selected, and then you obviously have watched and I've watched them on TV and you know who they are, and then you think, well, I just want to be like accepted. I want to be as good as them, and I want to be a part of this, and I want to, I don't believe it in myself yet, but I want them to think that I'm good enough to be here, and that's the sort of things that happen, I guess, when you're young.
There's probably that weird moment when you meet them. Let's take Jamie for example. Like, hey, I'm Jamie. Yeah, I know. I know who you are.
Yeah, obviously all really great guys. I think I remember. I think it was probably like 2005. I think my first sort of senior tournament for Tassie, and then that's when you first sort of like you play against them all. That's probably even more daunting than meeting them, because you got to play against them. And then there's that little bit that you think like, oh, I can do it. I can play against you. I can beat you, and I'm better than you. I can be better than you, and that sort of thing. I guess it's
love that.
Yeah, a really good dynamic.
Reading that CV out to you at the beginning, there's obviously one major gold medal that is missing, and it's proven, as we've just spoken about, so elusive for the Kookaburras throughout the history. Has the drive for Olympic gold been a factor in you playing as long as you have?
Oh, I don't think so. No, I mean, like, we had a great team in Beijing in my first Olympics in 2008. For example, if we'd had won the gold medal there, I don't think it would be any different. I can't say it because I don't know, because we didn't, but I don't think it would be any different. I think, I obviously am very driven, and I want to go to another Olympics. I want to go to the Olympics. I want to do well. It's been the same as every Olympics, but I think, no, I don't feel like it would be any different. Also, on the same token, if we'd won in Tokyo 3 years ago, I don't think it'd be different now. No, it's still, you get to this stage, and you, just because you've won before, I assume, it's not like you don't want to win again. It's like you get to this stage and you're a few months away or whatever, and you want to win now. Like, so yeah, I don't think it would be any different.
Is it burning away? Like, I mean, tell me how you feel ahead of an Olympic Games. So at the time of recording, we're, what are we, 80 odd days out, and tell me about the feeling as you're heading to Paris, because we've spoken a lot about the, particularly off air, the feeling that you've got amongst the group at the moment. It seems really positive. And I can hear it when you talk as well. Like you're a genuine chance, and that desire for that gold medal, it's starting to seem a bit real.
Yeah, I think there's a whole lot of mixed emotions that go through in when you're preparing for the Olympics. But yeah, I guess essentially everyone, when it comes around to this year, you feel a little bit of excitement, and there's a whole range of emotions that people go through during the year. But there's so much excitement, there's so much opportunity there for everybody. Yeah. You're all just chasing the same goal amongst the team, and you sort of get that real momentum, and the training has been fantastic, and the preparation's been really good so far. There's a really good feeling within the group. And I guess what I was saying is that our best is good enough. We know that if we go to the Olympics and perform, to our ability, that we're a great chance to, do well and win the Olympics. Like, to be able to say that is pretty special, I think. Like, our best is good enough.
Yeah.
So to go in knowing that, people might say it puts a lot of expectations or pressure on you, but the reality is we know that we're a good team, and we'd have to go there and perform, which is difficult because there's other good teams as well, and there's other factors. But to have that knowledge and the belief in the team that we're good enough, I think is a huge part of being successful.
Yeah, that is awesome. Jamie Dwyer has been a part of this series as well, and I remember asking him, perhaps naively, why the Olympic gold medal has been so elusive for the Kookaburras. And put simply, he just said they're not easy to win. Things have to go right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. There's I think it's a really difficult competition in the hockey. Like, there's a lot of teams that can win, and that's what makes it really great. I think the world hockey is in a really strong position at the moment, and away from the Olympics, but as a sport in hockey, we need that. We need to have the interest across the whole world. It's a truly global game, and any region, any country could have a team to win the gold medal. So yeah, like Jamie said, it is difficult. You have to go and be at your absolute best. And now we have quarterfinals, semifinals, final. Yeah. You're going to come up against a really good team, across those games, at least if you make it that far. So you prepare yourself to be at your very best when you need to against a great opposition. You have to be good enough to go and beat them, and that's the great thing about sport. You get that opportunity. You got to go show how good you are and play your best when you need to, and I think that's the exciting thing that we have.
Yeah, no, for sure. Look, something that is very evident about you, and I've noticed it from the second I met you, but I've been told as well, you are very grounded. You don't get ahead of yourself, and you don't take things for granted. So I will say, again, at the time of recording, we haven't officially had selection. That's coming up very shortly. How are you feeling about selection for the Olympic Games?
Yeah, I think that's sort of one of the emotions I was touching on earlier. It's a difficult time for everyone. We have a squad of 27, and there's a couple of extra guys that probably in consideration as well, sort of outside our squad, that train with us, and that gets brought down to 16 that go to the Olympics. So it's the depth in our squad is fantastic. So it's a difficult time, and really, really good players don't go. So you have to be fit at the right time. You have to be performing well. I think you have to, have the ability that your best is really going to help the team. And they're the sort of things that you have to show during the year, or also during the last few years. But it gets difficult, and the pressure's on a little bit around selection. It's tough for the team. It's tough for the selectors. But I think, you have to have confidence in yourself. If you asked everyone in the team to I guess, pick their team, you'd want them to pick themselves in the team. So, of course, I have confidence in my ability, and I think that I can help the team. So, in the preparation, I have to perform and show that I'm an asset and that I can help the team, and hopefully everyone else is doing that as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a really interesting insight, to be honest, especially for somebody who's a proven player, but for you to still have that mindset. Yeah, I think
I mean, it's difficult. Obviously no one wants to sort of go out and say that they're going to make the team. Correct. You want them to think that, I guess. Yeah. But you need to have that confidence in yourself. Who else is going to believe in you? If it's not you, you may as well.
Yes.
But yeah, I think sometimes it's sort of that emotion that you go through. If you have a bad game or a few bad games, you can start thinking about it too much, and they're the things that you can't control, and you don't want to have them in there. But I think it can creep in during the year, and yeah, that's normal.
Yep. You played your first senior game in 2006, and you're still playing now in 2024. What have you noticed in terms of changes to the sport and people that have gone through the high performance setup over your 18 years in the system?
Yeah, I think in the sport, I think hockey's been very progressive, and as a sport, I think they might have feel that they have to be, but now we have a lot of rule changes and experimentation all the time with changing the rules, and they've implemented that. And I think they've done a really good job about making the game faster, more attacking, and I guess, for example, 2009 or 10, they brought in the self pass rule. So if you get fouled, you can just stop the ball and run off with on your own.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pass it to someone else. Something like that. I think was trialed and they put it in straight away. They implemented it quickly, and I think that's all helped the game be very attacking and free flowing. It's a very fast game. It's very physical, and there's a lot of speed in the game. I think it's got quicker and quicker as my career has gone through.
How's that been adapting to?
Oh, I like that. And in Australia, we really like that. We want it to be attacking and free flowing. Yeah. So I think a lot of the rules sort of suit our style, and that's the way it should be played, I think. Like, you get people coming, they watch on TV around the Olympics, and it's hard to film, but it's good to watch on TV. And you get people that come and watch for the first time, and they're, really blown away how fast and how quick and skillful the game is. When you watch it live, they're really impressed, and that's good to sort of hear, but we want to expose it to more people, of course. Difficult on TV, but it's also a good TV sport. But yeah, I think I really like it. I love the physicality and the running, and the fact that every position's always around the ball, and you're always involved in the play. I think that's really exciting.
Well, when you say you're always around the ball, and is it true in saying you've basically played every position on the field over your career? Didn't you started as a defender, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, as a kid, I played
started as a forward.
Yeah, as a kid, I played as a defender a lot and a midfielder a lot.
Okay.
Sort of a halfback position and a midfielder. And I really when I was a kid, I was taught to learn sort of every position. And obviously I liked the game, so I would learn every skill. And I think in hockey, they're all pretty interchangeable anyway across the positions. But, you see people get put in positions and stay there forever. But yeah, when I was first selected for Australia, I played as a striker. Sort of like Beijing Olympics, I was a striker, and that was great because I could try and score goals. And then I think the majority of my career I was in as a midfielder, which you literally are around the ball all the time.
Yeah.
And then the last 4 or 5, 6 years, maybe I played back as a halfback, bit at fullback. So yeah, I think that talking about selection, those sort of things help you as well, being able to play a whole variety of positions and roles. I think that that makes you selectable, and I think I enjoy it. I learned all the skills when I was a kid, and I think I've been sort of impressed how I've been able to. I'm proud of the fact that I could play everywhere. It's, I think it's a bit unique.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Talking about changes from the time since you've started to now, Oscar is 6, Fede.
Yeah,
Fede is 5, and Yip is 3, have come on the scene. Now, these are your 3 kids, for those who weren't aware, with your partner Louise. How have kids changed your approach to life?
Yeah, I mean, it's really different. 3 boys. It's busy.
I bet it is.
Yeah, I don't know. You often get asked it, and I can't really put my finger on it, but I think you learn to not be able to control everything, and not sort of you can't do everything that you think you can do as well. I know how to go and play hockey. I was doing that every day, and then as a parent, I don't really know what to do. I'm not sure if I'm making the right choices. Before I'd go to bed thinking oh, what could I have done at training? Or you have, silly thoughts about I should have done this, I should have done that. And now you think oh, what was I doing today? Why did I say that? Or
right.
So instead of thinking about hockey, I think, just one example, you might be thinking oh, I don't know how to parent. My kids are doing this, or that was fun, we did that, or all this sort of stuff. I think that sort of gives you a different perspective. You get home from training and you're not so focused on maybe what happened at hockey. You can, you got something else outside that's really.
What's it like You mentioned it there. The thing I find with a lot of elite athletes is that they feel the need to be in control. Now, that's a blanket statement. Of course, not everybody is like that. But you just mentioned, like, you're not in control. You don't know what's coming with kids. What's it like to lose that sense of control and predictability?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what I was trying to say. I think, like you just can't control things, and I think it sort of makes everything else. It makes you accept things that you can't control.
Okay.
It makes everything a little bit easier that you're not so. I guess you're not trying to control everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I learned I don't know everything. I can't control everything. You sort of let everything sort of go a little bit more. You sort of learn the things that are really important. And the things that you want to spend time doing and the things that don't necessarily need to do.
Yeah.
I think those sort of things you learn. And then, I don't know if it's helped hockey or not, but I feel like it definitely hasn't sort of hampered me at all. I think it's been a positive impact.
I mean, from my perspective, those sort of lessons are invaluable. So I can imagine it has. Hey, I always like to get some inside sort of information when I do these chats, Eddie. And I've gone to a few people who know you quite well. Now, the first thing to clear up on this is that I've spoken to 3 people and they all said the same damn thing, is that he's a straight shooter and he never gets himself in trouble. Now, I mean that straight shooter metaphorically. So there's no dirt that I could really get from you, but I did manage to get a few shots. So don't shoot the messenger here with this first one.
Can't see the sheet, so it's okay.
No, I know. This is not me, because I'm going to read this first one verbatim. Ask him when he's going to ask his loyal girlfriend to be his wife. How long have you been with Louise?
Really long. I mean, should ask myself. I think we sort of got, there was a long time there where we could have got married and then we sort of got caught up with kids.
Yeah.
And now, like, we obviously will do it one day. I'm just like, it's just so much. Like, I've been to other people's weddings and I'm just like, it's just so much stuff to do. I don't know if I could handle it, but I think, it's a fair question.
Do you reckon you know who's told me that?
Oh, it could have been anyone. It could have been everyone.
I won't say just yet. We'll stay in the area of love, because the same source tells me that there's a bit of a Kookaburras love triangle happening. I'm told you, Aaron Zaluski, and Jeremy Hayward are inseparable.
I think... we've been playing together for a long time. That's probably pretty fair. Good mates, great times, good memories.
Yep.
The
other one that's popped up is that you love your footy, and that you're always taking a ball with you on tour, having a kick in the warm up. Tell me about your love for the game.
Oh yeah, I think I mentioned earlier. I mean, I tried to play every sport. Like, I love all sports. I love watching sport and playing sport. I think footy, like, I probably played the less out of all the sports.
Yep.
But I think it's very accessible on TV and everybody knows it, and you have things that you can do, like fantasy and stuff like that. I think that keeps you interested.
Do you play?
I used to.
Oh,
I sort of like stopped because I just wanted to watch the game and not be like, kick it to that guy. Or like
ruins
too focused about like, I just want to let it go and watch and enjoy the game, enjoy the sport again.
I'm right there with you. It ruins my my appetite for footy.
Yeah, exactly. So now I've been able to
go.
let that go and just watch it. And I think like it's so easy to take along a footy and just kick it around. Or we obviously all have hockey sticks, so there's been hours and hours of like cricket in hotel rooms with our hockey sticks.
That's cool.
Down the hallways, outside as well. But things like that on tour that we can do, and we all love sport, like as hockey players. So watching other sports and playing other sports still gives you that fun sense of feeling like when you were kids.
Yeah.
And I think footy's just so easy to watch. It's always on and it's accessible. But it's a great game. Cricket I really love probably the most.
Yeah.
That was my other probably big passion as a kid. Cricket and hockey. Just the seasons work out well.
Yeah, for sure.
And I still love watching that.
And I'm told Ricky Ponting was a favourite.
Yeah, the young Tasmanian. I think
of course.
Yeah, like being from Tassie, I think we sort of follow other Tasmanians. So if there's a Tassie athlete doing well on the world stage in Tassie, you'll hear about it and you'll watch it and follow it. So I mean, obviously a are great, but when I was really little, he was sort of just coming on. So I feel like to be able to watch his career, and that was extra special.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, here's hoping you go well past the Paris Olympics. But when retirement does eventually come, I hear there's a winery that you could venture into. Tell me about your old man's winery.
Oh yeah, so he just has sort of like a hobby vineyard that he started with his mates. So he was an ag scientist, so he obviously knew all about it. Yeah, and then on one of their farms, they just sort of planted some grapes. So I'm led to believe, like a fairly long time ago, it's a
Yeah,
Pinot
right.
Noir, like early for the area or for Tassie or whatever, I think. So they've been established for a long time, and yeah, I've just been able to watch him do a hobby that he likes and sometimes doesn't like, kind of do all the work on the weekends, like it's like an extra job.
Yeah.
And definitely, we actually used to do a fair bit of work there too. I'm not going to say it was always fun, but a lot of bit of labor there and a few family barbecues, sort of picking grapes. I mean, good memories. Yeah, that were, great times.
Oh, so it's been like since you were a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been there for like as long as I can remember. So
Did he get you in the barrels squishing the grapes as well?
didn't do that,
Oh, what?
unfortunately. Think probably just trying to pick grapes and then keep us under control for long enough.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. Like I think, I remember watching and probably I wish I was more interested in it as a kid. I think you always just like, and you see it now, like you trying to show your kids something that could be interesting, or that they will like, or something that will be good in their future. And whatever. And now I guess with everything, like you learn instrument, and like I learned piano for ages, and now I couldn't do it. I'm like, why would I not do that? Like, of course I should have done that.
Yeah.
It's probably the same thing. Like I wish I'd learnt more about it.
Yeah. Is like I assume he's given you bottles. Is it a good job?
Yeah, I mean apparently it's really good. Like it's nice to be able to ask a favor of someone, and then say like, oh, I'll give you a bottle of my dad's wine.
Yeah,
So
for
as a
sure.
thank you, and just hand them out willy nilly, and they say it's really good. So
What's it called?
it's called Milford.
Milford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually really good. Like
Yeah.
every now and then they'll put in a show, and that
Oh,
normally
nice.
does really well. So I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
I don't think you can buy it, so that makes it a little bit special.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? So he just like it's
Yeah, they
literally
just sort
only
of
as a
share
gift.
it. Yeah, or they just share it amongst the
that
friends.
is
And
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I think they could sell a bit here and there, but yeah, it's really interesting.
There you go. The common thread with all my research, Eddie, and chats with these people is that, as well as a quiet and relaxed guy, is that, and this will probably be uncomfortable for you, is that you're an outstanding player. And that you're an extraordinarily humble bloke. So you've always avoided the spotlight. And even now, it's quite clear that you are very down to earth. So I won't ask you much more about your ability, other than, were you always technically gifted at stick and ball sports?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I remember teaching myself heaps of things. Like, obviously, I was coached and like did formal training in sports. But I remember being able to like watch TV and trying to imitate like a bowling action or a shot in cricket or a skill in hockey or a kick in footy or all these sort of things. I remember teaching myself, watching it, and then either go on my own in the backyard and trying to practice and learn skills like that. So I remember being able to do that. So I think coordination, I think I've always been able to have that and to be able to do it. And then, as a hockey player, I know I do have belief in myself. I know I'm a good player, and I knew that I was skillful and talented. And, I always sort of knew that I was good. Like I was good enough, and I wanted to do it. But I think like when you think about it now, like I'm proud of the fact that I've been so dedicated and worked so hard, and like even being talented, that I've, been able to progress. And I think, train hard, work hard, and trying to get better all the time. And I think that's sort of the things that I look back on sort of, and more proud of myself about those sort of things.
It's funny you say that. And again, I'm not going to ask you any more about your ability, because you are a very down to earth person. But I mentioned off the top that mum has been a coach for 20 odd years. She's always said that her best athletes are not necessarily the most gifted athletes. They're the hardest workers, but then what it seems like with you is we've got this perfect storm of natural ability But like you just said then, hard work.
Yeah.
And I suspect those two going together is what's created a really impressive, like a long and successful career.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at our squad, for example, like everyone in that team to get to this position is obviously very talented and with a lot of ability, and they've shown themselves to be fully dedicated.
Yeah.
And to make choices to move to Perth, where we all train together. We all moved to Perth, like at a young age.
Yeah.
To make the choice to do that, you know that they're coming over here as a hockey player with the want and the will and the desire to do it, that they want to make this team, they want to improve themselves.
Yeah.
So we get a group of 27, say, in our squad that have that ability and have that dedication and work ethic. And when you get the whole mix of that, and that's why it's so sort of like addictive and enjoyable to be a part of, you get that whole collection of people with high ability and high dedication. I think the best of the best definitely need both.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me how important team sports have been to you in your life. This has been a pretty common thread throughout this whole series, is the value that sport can provide to somebody's life. What's it provided to yours?
Yeah, I think I've gravitated towards the team aspect and the team environments. And I think, I just love having people around and having teammates that maybe like you can rely on to take the pressure off yourself a bit. Maybe, individual sports you have to marvel at because they have to be so focused and everything is on them, like in a team sport, you're just part of a collective. So I think I love having the fact that I've got people around me to sort of enjoy or to lean on. And, like in a team environment, I just love the dynamics and like I mentioned before about the collective dedication. I really love that aspect.
Yeah.
And things like going on tour together now, and when you're a kid, under 13s, under 15 state teams, it's just like awesome. At the time, you're like, this is the best 2 weeks of my life. Like I'm in Melbourne playing for Tassie with like a bunch of mates. This is so cool. And like you still have that now when we go away as Kookaburras. So I mean, that is the team environment that I love. And then the part about sport, about the community that we touched on earlier, I think that as I've grown older, I really value that as part of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie, I finished these conversations with the same two questions. And it's great because I get all these different answers, which, it's fascinating for me. So firstly, you're now at, in the twilight of your career, so you can reflect back and draw on all these experiences. And perhaps you've even thought about this with young guys coming into the Kookaburras now. What would you tell a young person, a young kid who's aspiring to be an Olympian or a Kookaburra, or even just making their way in life? What have you learned that you'd tell young people?
Oh, I think like if you can find something that you're passionate about, just do it. Like go and do it. I mean, it's difficult if you can't find that thing that you really love. And that's why I mentioned before, I feel so lucky that I was able to find something from an early age. But I mean, if you can find something that you're passionate about, just stick to it and do it sort of no matter what, if you love it. The other thing is I think just experiment, play different sports, play as long as you can. And if it's, if it's in an elite environment, then, enjoy that time. But if it's not, I think just keep playing sport and get out and about. I think sport, like I love sport, obviously, picking up on it. But I think teams and sport and communities are so essential for people to stick out. And a lot of people played sport as kids that maybe don't do it anymore when they grow up, but they could get value out of it. I guess the other things are like you have to enjoy it. And with me, I've always enjoyed the training and the games, but I think being able to enjoy the harder parts, and not necessarily I've had to deal with a lot of hardships and that sort of stuff, but I think enjoying the really difficult moments, enjoying it when the game is sort of really tough and challenging, like enjoy the challenge, enjoy the hard parts of your sport, the difficult things. And I think that has made me enjoy it more as a whole, makes the fun times more exciting and fun, but you can still take joy out of the really tough times or little challenges. So I think that's sort of another good one that I probably could have done more as a youngster.
Oh, it's a fascinating insight. This last one means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And for somebody that is so decorated, I am interested to hear from you. What does success mean to you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of better people have answered the question better than I could, but it is one of those things that's really hard to put your finger on. Like ultimately, like I train every day and try and improve myself to go and win whatever it is that is you want to win. But I think success is just being able to, get the most out of yourself or the team, and going, like, say, I'll use Tokyo as an example. Like, ultimately, we lost the gold medal game on a shootout, which is really disappointing. It's not to say I don't think about it all the time and wish it was different, but it was such a successful tournament because we went over there and we played as brilliantly as we could. We played a great tournament every day, backed it up, and we were really successful. And we were like walking off the field, you're happy that you've performed well in a tough, challenging environment when you had to. We just didn't quite win. So I guess that's one sort of answer. But yeah, ultimately success for me would be going to do whatever you want to do. Put your goal on what you need to, and derive from that what you will. But I would love to go and to win and to win gold medals and to win tournaments.
Yeah, no, of course you would.
Yeah.
I think, something you just said then is really important for young people, especially to hear. Like what you said about Tokyo really struck me, is that a lot of people, especially in the media, will look at Tokyo and go, well, they didn't win the gold medal, so that's unsuccessful.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can look at, the occasion as a whole and say, we did well.
Yeah.
Like we were good. We were good as a team. We did what we could. And like you said, like if it goes to flicks, seriously, there's an element of luck there, and you can walk away thinking, well, we were successful. So
I think if you can perform well in a difficult environment, still bring your best, and that's the tough part, and that's what we're all trying to do. And you hope the result goes your way.
Yeah,
I think the other thing is you can have success sort of like every day. Like it doesn't have to be like at the end or whatever. I think going to training, like sort of improving or doing one good repetition of something at whatever sport you do, and taking success out of that all the way along, like a lot of little successes through one training in a whole week of training, in a year of training, all those little successes, I think, I often do refer to that, like as you go, like now I'm thinking about it on the field, just it gives yourself confidence and belief, and take success out of that one thing, and it'll just, I guess, roll on from there.
That's amazing. You said at the start of that answer that other people will answer that better than you. I don't think so. I think it's brilliant. And to be honest, I could talk to you for a whole nother hour, 2 hours. But look, we will finish up there. Eddie, I am so excited to follow the Kookaburras journey. Over the next few weeks and then throughout the Olympics, because it's been such a privilege to chat with you today. I will say congratulations. I'm still in awe at the fact that we hope you're about to embark on your 5th Olympic campaign. It's been an incredible career. We're proud to also, by the way, call you a little West Aussie because you've been living here for long enough. But we are proud to follow your journey. Thank you so much for sharing what you have today. It's been fascinating. Thank you for taking the time, and all the best for the Paris Olympics.
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much. We'll do it again. Thank you.
I would love to. Thank you very much.